up? You gotta stop and listen. It's coming to you.
쿨라 울리자 no brother昔悟空を見逃し쿨라 울리자 no brother結果一族滅び夢幻のことすあの体勢からの返し侮りがたし鼻から第4形態フリーザより1回変身を設定見せた変身1回 YO 最後は太陽そりゃないよ燃え尽き太陽 YO 最後は太陽そりゃないよ燃え尽き太陽クーラフリーザのブラザードカンバトルにクーラぶちかませ超快感ドラゴンボール Z ドカンバトル全世界同時キャンペーン始まるLisa, no brother.
Hey yo, what's up? You gotta stop and listen. It's time to open your eyes. It's coming to you.
Cooler, Lisa, no brother. 메탈 cooler, Lisa, no brother. 九州復讐メタルクーラー機械になって得たぜ復讐の機械無限に増殖絶望を感じたあのショック打ちたちから捕まえた悟空とベジータ吸われた悟空とベジータ全力出した奴は非道かます瞬間移動奴は非常ボディは頑丈無限に再生絶望の戦場無限に増殖見せろ根性クーラーリーザのブラザードカンバトルにメタルクーラー来たるぶちかませ超快感ドラゴンボール Z ドッカンバトル全世界同時キャンペーン開催中ポタラ使ったら合体最強ダマス悟空ブラック高い気ぐらい海洋神の見習い人間嫌い過去現在未来人間滅ぼしたい人間ゼロ計画だからポタラ使ったら合体最強見た目を捨てたらむやみやたら強いキャラポタラ不死身だから切られたら増えるから宇宙そのもの無限ザマス無限に増えて人間滅ぼす神辛い未来それでも絶対諦めない盾希望の戦士世界の盾になるために僕のベジータ未来に助けに来たら初めに苦しみ大ピンチだからポタラ使ったら合体最強ベジタブルー気が高ブルーベジタブルー心揺さぶる強さ荒ぶる合体したら強敵もへっちゃらポタラ使ったら合体最強ポタラ使ったら合体最強ドラゴンボール Z ドッカンバトル全世界同時キャンペーン間もなく
Hey guys, it's Mike here, and welcome to Laughingstock Media Monday. How's everybody doing tonight? Or today, depending upon where you live. But then again, depending upon where you live, it isn't actually Monday anymore. It's only really Monday for less than 2 hours where I live, so... Great timing here, Mike. But anyway, with that being said, tonight I'm going to be talking about Vegeta. Well, at least in part. So one of the things I've decided to discuss with regard to the Prince of all vegetables is the correlation and relation between him and one perfect main villain. The perfect best villain in the Dragon Ball franchise, which you can see in the top right corner if I remember to put any cards in this live stream, which I probably won't, to be honest. And if you're not watching it on the devices where you could actually see things in the top right corner, then chances are you're never going to see what I'm pointing to. You're going to have zero frame of reference. Damn it, Don, you're out of your element. You have no frame of reference. You wander into the conversation like a child. I do kind of feel like that's what a lot of live streams are like, though, right? When you think about it. Like people, including myself, like I rarely am there at the start of a live stream. They kind of come in as it's going on. And then it's the question of what exactly is this stream about and why are they talking? And can I figure out the context before I decide to move on? Yeah. But hey, how's everybody doing today here on Laughingstock Media Monday? Let me open up the chat and take a look at what you guys have to say. I can't keep rhyming all day. Other words, they're going to have to pay. Because these bars I do slit. I don't know. I'm not gonna do that all night. Maybe I should ask people to give me super chats to stop me from doing that. It's kind of like, you know, it's like, I'll pay you not to do your job. You know, it's kind of like one of those types of things or whatever. I feel like I was going to have a much better reference there, but then I kind of forgot to try halfway through. So let's see if I could pop this up. Yes, I popped up the pop out chat. Awesome. I'm so funny. Hey, Joy Boy from the Philippines. Awesome. Greetings. How are you guys doing over there? Biggie Cheese. How's it going? Xavier Degade. Fernando Velasquez. Morgan Heine. Toby Garten. AP Presidente. Legendar. Aber. Egyptian American. I already crossed mode. Oh, cool. Thank you so much for that, AP. Cool to know I have people watching in Albania. I always love to hear what country everybody's from. What country are you from? Do they speak English and what? Yeah, so you and Quinn record a 30 or 54 minute video, I heard. 54. I think on his channel, probably. I mean, to be fair, though, if you guys watch the same streams I do, you got to remember there's the before and after editing time. You could actually see all of it unfold inside Quaman's timeline. Not the alternate timeline, nor any theories regarding it, but I don't know, I just had to make a pun on Quaman time travel. We discussed that a little bit in my newest video, if I recall correctly. The Mandela effects in Dragon Ball Z. Oh, hey, thank you so much, Biggie Cheese Jr. I really appreciate that for your super chat. Hit the heart up in that top right corner. I mean, you know that it was made for me, right? When it's in the top right corner. I love, or learn how to read, Mike. I look forward to these streams, truly. Keep it up. Yeah, well, I really appreciate that. And I'm really grateful that you're a mod on my channel. Same thing with Xavier. And sure, I'll be adding more mods to go. What do they speak in Canada? Puerto Rico, how's it going? I've been down there once before. Years ago, I liked it. It was nice. Toby Garten. Cap. His biggest mistake is going to whoever the barber playing Vegeta is messing up everyone's cuts. Yeah. Let's see. How's it going, Kyle Watson? Jesse Martinez. In the Jamamnon. I don't know. That's a tough one to pronounce, especially for me. I was going to say even for me, but let's be honest, especially for me. I just realized you had a cinema channel. I've been subbed to you forever. Oh, cool. Yeah. So in case anyone doesn't know, let me take that opportunity to give myself a shameless plug right there and there. It's called Laughingstock Cinema. How's it going? Gotta reverse engineer this URL. Vegeta. Vegeta Blue. Okay, so what am I doing right now? Over here, you can see my other channel, Laughingstock Cinema, in which I've discussed a wide variety of topics. You know, the newest the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy. I have all of the reviews up there. I really like the number of this one. And, you know, then I have my review for Ahsoka, Saw 10, The Dark Knight Trilogy, Punisher 2004, an underrated classic, you know. And then plenty other stuff, hundreds of videos or 132 videos. Eventually I'll get to hundreds of videos, plural. But yeah, if you guys like it, check it out. You know, give it a subscribe, enable those damn notifications, as Harold Von Hugenmuscles used to say. And there's definitely going to be more coming out soon. In fact, I have a video coming out with Mark from Real to Real, in which we go in depth in the parallels between Walter White and John Kramer, Heisenberg and Jigsaw, the Jigsaw killer from, well, the Saw franchise. And it's a really interesting, in-depth discussion we did. Mark is a big-time Saw fan and also a big Breaking Bad fan like me. And, you know, I've seen all the Saw movies, including the newest one, which I said I did a review. So doubly check it out because, you know, I'm repeating myself there. Also, I don't know if I still have my low light compensation on here. I hate when my camera looks all pixely, like I'm shooting on VHS in the 1990s, like the Blair Witch Project or something. Let's see. I feel like I recorded a video. Yeah, there we go. Better. It's a little dark though, so I gotta turn on the lights. Or at least additional ones. I feel like I recorded a video recently, maybe the one with Quaman, where I had my low light compensation on. I hate the way it looks. Honestly, I don't really know how I feel about this webcam in general. Like, it's 4K. I'm able to stream in 4K as I'm doing right now and stuff like that. But overall, I just am really a perfectionist when it comes to, like, the quality of image. Even, like, where I'm trying to, like, be more natural with my editing these days in terms of letting things kind of, like, play out organically instead of, you know, doing a million cuts. You know, I still want it to look as clear as possible, you know. I mean, I would shoot in 8K if I had the ability to do so. I would use one of those freaking red cams from the movies that I worked on if I had the budget for that. That would be a lot to shoot YouTube videos on red cams, though. You know, I would have to, theoretically, I'd have to rent them out and then shoot a bunch of videos on them ahead of time. You know, honestly, maybe it's not that unrealistic. I could do that. I could rent out equipment. I can shoot some of my videos in the YouTube space in, like, you know, they have different YouTube spaces where you can go, and I think they might have cameras there. So I don't know. That'd be cool to do, to go to one of those YouTube spaces and shoot my videos there in person. Maybe I would have to edit footage over unless I could somehow do share screen like I do recently with my like manga breakdowns and videos. But overall, I think it'd be awesome to do that. Oh, hey, I got another super chat. I'm trying not to keep saying that. That's another thing I noticed I do. I'm sure you guys have noticed too, in terms of how I often say the same things too often, like that. And now I notice every time I get a super chat, it's like, oh, hey. Maybe I should just make that like a sound that plays, like, oh, hey. But then it wouldn't be organic. But okay, thank you so much, Xavier Degod. Now, am I supposed to pronounce it Dagod? 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 Xavier Degod. No. Xavier Degod with the super chat. Who's your favorite? Jason, Freddy, or Michael Myers? Michael Myers. In terms of who would win a straight up like physical fight, Jason, at least as a zombie. Unless Michael Myers' magical power lets him scale up to anyone he's fighting. And then that power advantage wouldn't really be that significant anymore. His regeneration is way better, Jason's, though, comparative to Michael or Freddy. But Freddy, I mean, if it's in the dream, then Freddy could beat the other two. But that's kind of the thing. Like, Freddy put up a really good fight against Jason, Freddy versus Jason, but physically, like, he just isn't on the level of the other two. Both of them would be able to kill him. He wouldn't really be able to kill either of them because they're both immortal, and Freddy is only immortal inside the dream. He's been killed by like a teenage girl before, so he's the weakest link there. What movies have you worked on? A bunch of independent movies. I would show some of them on screen, but I feel like for copyright reasons I can't. I do have a lot of them right now, but hopefully I'll make more in the future and then you guys can actually see them. I mean, that's a goal, right? I would love to make a live action Dragon Ball like movie. Probably, you know, it would be really hard to do, of course, but I feel like they're going to beat me to that. Like if they have One Piece and Yu Yu Hakusho coming out in live action, Dragon Ball, I feel like they're definitely going to be able to do it before I get the chance to, you know, unless all the stars align, let's say, you know. But even then, I know most people in this fandom are still traumatized from Dragon Ball. I blocked it out. Dragon Ball Evolution. That's like mentioning Voldemort in the middle of Diagon Alley. Diagon Alley. Scariest Dragon Ball arc. I don't think any of them really scared me, but in terms of like something along those lines, probably something like Garlic Jr., the Boo Saga, or maybe Baby, in terms of like people being taken over. It's kind of like Invasion and the Body Snatchers. Has Dragon Ball inspired any of your movies? There are inspirations probably from Dragon Ball here and there in what I've written and what I've created. You know, Dragon Ball, a lot of different anime. Dragon Ball, Yu Yu Hakusho, Hunter x Hunter. Let's see. Full Metal Alchemist, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Zelda. I mean, literally tons of things that I surround myself with. There are inspirations in my book series with regard to that. So yeah, definitely. Like, it's not like the primary inspiration, but there might be little things here and there. There are certain things that I even consider like, okay, I can't get into it right now, but hopefully in the future I'll be able to talk all I want about my books, because I'll just I'll release them in a public format, and then I could do just straight up Q&As or videos all about them. But not right now. Cell was definitely the scariest. I mean, during the section, yeah, I mean, there are definitely some scary parts in Cell, I suppose you could say, like the androids and the future Trunks timeline, Cell's introduction, which is straight out of a horror movie. But when I was a kid, I always thought that stuff was just really cool. I never really thought it was scary, you know? Like a lot of horror movies I thought were just cool when I was a kid, or just entertaining. But overall, I mean, if there are parts that scared anyone, I guess let me know in the comments in the live chat, because I'd be interested to hear it. Oh, Brent, thank you so much, Brent Shell, for your super chat. Happy Halloween. You do on camera. Happy Halloween, everybody. How are you Ghosts and Ghouls doing tonight as we go into All Hallows Eve? Are you going to do anything for Halloween this year? That's what I'm curious to ask all of you. Every year I do a Halloween movie marathon, or I watch maybe just one really scary or just one of my favorite horror movies. Last year I watched The Shining and maybe another movie or two. I don't really remember, but this year I'm still actually trying to figure that out. And considering that's right about to be Halloween, it would probably be a good idea if I did actually figure out what I'm going to watch. But I'm going to give out Halloween candy. I always like to do that. And it gives me an excuse to buy bags of candy. But no, I think it's fun. It's a fun holiday. That and Christmas. I love how people decorate and, they put up all the cool festive types of ornaments and not just decorate the outside, the exterior, but also the interior of their house. They wear costumes. It's a fun time. So yeah, I mean, most people seem to forget about Thanksgiving, but I guess, comparative to the two holidays that's wedged in between, it makes sense why Thanksgiving is seemingly more marginalized in a lot of ways today. Plus, it's a little less marketable, I suppose. Yeah, and that's what a lot of these holidays, in terms of their promotion, kind of come down to, especially like Valentine's Day. But every holiday now they try and make the most marketable possible. Even Thanksgiving, they start Black Friday like early on Thanksgiving night, just so that you'll be able to spend more money on Thanksgiving, where they can't get you with like promoting, I don't know, turkey-based things. I know they have Thanksgiving in other countries than America, like Canada, I'm pretty sure, and it's on a different day if I recall correctly. But then again, I'm an American, so who knows? Okay. Happy Halloween, Kyle. Emperor Palpatine. That's strange that you had your message retracted. I guess that means you don't have unlimited power? And I would have to say that since Quinn might be watching. Let's see. Imitation is the greatest flattery, and the Resident Evil bioorganic weapon is an imitation cell. Which game is that from, AP? So let's see. Let's see, what are you guys doing? Let me see. I want to make sure I saw what you guys are going to do for Halloween. Drinking with lightning, I guess. Or maybe you're from California. Represent. How's it going? It's a little bit earlier for you guys there, so it's not Halloween yet. And like the lucky people out there who live in the future. I hope it'll, because the gym will be empty. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things, I guess, certain days and holidays you can go to, and they're not where things are closed necessarily. So you can hit up the gym. All the people are eating candy and doing cardio. Let's be honest. They're walking door to door throughout a town. That's some cardio there. I mean, in my town, they don't really do it anywhere near as much as when I was a kid. I remember I used to get a giant pillowcase and I'd run like around the town, basically a lot of times on my own, just getting candy and filling up a giant pillowcase. And I would have candy for months. I would put in the freezer. And so I would have a lot of them I didn't really like as a kid, to be honest. I guess a lot of them I don't like as much now either. But I would have like hundreds of Heath bars, that's for sure. Nowadays, I actually like those, though. What's my favorite type of candy? Probably M&Ms. Although I really love Kit Kats as well. Those are two candies I could eat all day, every day. Whereas most of the other ones I can eat a little bit and not quite as much. I do like sour candy, though. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm in the mood to eat chocolate if I'm going to eat candy. So I'd rather eat, either sour or something like Skittles, I guess, or Starburst I used to love. It depends on what I'm in the mood for. But I rarely eat candy these days. Yeah, it would be cool to be born on a holiday. But then again, sometimes people get gypped that way. It's like, oh, I already got you this for the holiday. Now you expect me to get you something else. So, you know. How did I lose so much weight? Um, Pretty much diet mostly, and then a little bit exercise. It became a lot easier to exercise as I lost weight and, was doing a bunch of physical therapy because of, neck, back, shoulder, entire body problems. And so, you know, I was able to drop from a little over 300 to, right now I'm a little over 200, but, my lowest weight was like 191. So I'm going down below that right now. My goal is to drop to like 180, 85-ish. So yeah, I lost about 100 pounds. Really over that, but like I said, I gained about 10-ish pounds since my lowest weight. I gained a lot more than that, but I've dropped about 10 to 20 pounds again recently, especially in the past like few weeks. Like I've gone hardcore in the past week, especially with my diet. Like for me, it's all about getting into the zone. So basically, like with regard to the diet, what I do is that sometimes you got to build up to something, or you got to like charge up your energy like a Dragon Ball character, let's say. And so basically what I would do is when a lot of times when I want to do something, I got to just kind of like slowly lead into it or make it happen, build up to it essentially. And then I have a lot of goals. So with me, I weigh myself all the time. And I know that they say you're not supposed to do it that often, but I do, just so I can constantly tell how much I weigh. And so as a result, that makes it much easier for me not only to keep track of it, but to set goals. So like, for example, when I was trying to lose all that weight, I would do something like, I want to go to bed at, let's say, for example, 285, and I want to wake up like, below that. Obviously you're going to, so like, let's say I want to go to bed at like, 187 or 287 rather, and then go to sleep at and wake up at like below 185 or 280, 285. I'm getting losing track here. But either way, the point is like, constantly making slight progression. And that's where a lot of people get caught up there. I guess probably with their weight loss, where it's like, you constantly look in the mirror and you look at the scale and you're like, why am I not 20 pounds less yet? Why am I not the exact amount of weight that I want to lose yet? And so for me, I didn't do that. I made little incremental goals so that over the course of about 6 months, I was able to lose like 80 to 100 pounds. And then I kept losing a little bit more weight after that. So I was able to get into the 190s, for the first time in my entire adult life, I was below 200 pounds. And, it was pretty cool to see that number on the screen. I'm right about to hit that again, after gaining a little bit of weight and, basically just trying to have some fun. Sometimes when you do something like that too, you kind of need to take a break. It's like Goku training in the hyperbolic time chamber with Gohan, where it's like, okay, we trained really hard. We hit the limit of what we have right now. So let's just relax and take it easy and rest and have fun, enjoy our lives. And then, you get back to it. That's what I did. So I gained a little more weight, just having fun, trying to live my life and enjoy it. And now I'm losing that back. I already lost most of it. Did you train with Harold? Yes. He's a very tough teacher, as you can imagine. Let's see. Resident Evil video game franchise. Yeah, I played a lot of them. I just mean which Resident Evil was based on Cell. I guess that all of them came out after Cell, so yeah, maybe there is that inspiration there. Suffice to say, Halloween's definitely one of the most notorious holidays to be possibly shot and killed on, so do be safe. I didn't know that, but I guess I'm not surprised. But you do have to wonder how many of that is like people dressed up in costumes, like either breaking and entering or kind of just like doing this or doing that. Maybe there's a lot of people who take advantage of the fact they don't think that somebody will be home because they're out trick-or-treating, and so they try and rob them and they get surprised. There's a lot of factors that could go into that statistic, so I would be curious to see how that kind of works. Let's see. If Boo turned DBS Broly and chocolate and ate it, would you explode from the power? I don't think that there's really any limit on what he could absorb as far as we know. I mean, they pulled that with Moro and Yakan, but obviously Boo is his own kind of being, so I'm not sure. Hey, Nick TMZ. I've seen the whole thing. Jeez, let me take a sip of water for the working man here. A lot more than one, I suppose. All right, so what was I going to say? Oh. So I've seen a lot of people say the whole demonic thing about Halloween. Halloween's actually a Christian holiday. It was created by the Catholic Church. It's called All Hallows Eve, which is all about the Hallows, the saints, and celebrating them. People just, they incorporate some cultural and other aspects into it, in terms of like maybe like other theological aspects, you could say, but overall it is not supposed to be some sort of demonic holiday. People are just, for the most part, they're having fun, they're dressing up, and they're participating in cultural norms. Whether you want to view cultural norms as one way or another, that's entirely up to you, but overall it's kind of like saying Dragon Ball is demonic or satanic or something because it has a character named Mr. Satan who ends up being a good guy and helping save the world and all this other stuff. There's a lot of those little things, and I do plan to discuss this more in depth in a video in the future with another channel, but getting our two schedules together has been pretty tough. That's one of the issues with doing collabs, especially with new channels, is that it's a little difficult to get them on the schedule. And also, if you haven't worked with somebody before, sometimes you're a little more hesitant to work with them comparative to working with somebody because you have a little bit more trust in a business type of relationship built up comparatively to you and somebody you've never worked with. So it's kind of like that too. But either way, everyone's entitled to their opinions and stuff. Do I prefer Goku's technique Stardust Breaker or Soul Punish? Oh, do I prefer to call it? I usually say Stardust Breaker, to be honest, but I guess Soul Punisher sounds pretty cool. I do like Stardust Breaker, though. I think that's, even though Soul Punisher sounds like awesome and metal, Stardust Breaker for me just seems more fitting. How did you know what to eat? Oh, for losing weight? I just did my research. To be honest, I knew for a really long time, but sometimes you just kind of got to get into the mindset to do something. You have to find the discipline and the capability of doing that. So overall, with regard to what I ate, it's not just as simple as what I eat either. It's also how much I eat and when I eat. So when I'm trying to lose weight, for example, I have a very regimented diet. So what I do is I eat primarily low carb and low calorie. And not just that, but I also only eat for specific periods of time because I'm doing intermittent fasting. And depending upon how hard I want to push it, I will bump that number up significantly in terms of amount of hours I don't eat. So, we're talking a while. There's some other people too that I know who do intermittent fasting and have had really good success with it. So the thing is, like, a lot of times, even if you're not eating amazing in terms of in terms of your like low carb, low sugar, so on and so forth, even eating Taco Bell, which I do every now and then being a lot closer together than I would like sometimes. But, you know, sometimes I'll say that even if you're not eating amazing, if you're still eating within a really smaller window of time, and not just that, but also that you aren't eating too many calories, like you figure out your maintenance calories and then basically you subtract your other calories from it, you're always working on a deficit, which in turn will be able to lead you to burning more calories, every day. Like 1 pound of fat, for example, is 3,500 calories, but your metabolism is only going to like accelerate and stuff as you're like not starving yourself, but you're doing something that most people are not used to, which is not eating. And at least in our Western, first world countries, I suppose you could say, right? So when you realize that you don't need to constantly eat food, especially really calorically dense food, and you like condition yourself to not do it as much, you'll see that your body becomes more optimized and you start to think better the more you fast. And, it definitely, fasting has really positive benefits on the person. I mean, I wouldn't say, I'm not giving any type of medical advice or something because I'm not a doctor. In medicine at least. But with that being said, I will say that I'm not a doctor in anything except for thugonomics. But, that's why you can't see me on the microphone. You just see a blue and black chair. Yeah. So let's see. Soul Punisher. Isn't Soul Punisher the original one? Stardust Breaker is cooler. I don't remember. Eating pizza right now. Awesome. I actually ate 2 entire pepperoni pizzas this week. And guess what? I'm going to blow your minds, guys. I still lost weight. Because not only did I make them myself, and they were using low carb keto batter. Well, not batter, but like dough that I made myself. But they are low enough in calorie to where I eat them, and I didn't eat really a lot else that day. I ate them on 2 days in a row and I still lost weight, keep in mind. And I was able to, and that's the thing. You could eat pizza doing keto. I mean, even regular pizza sometime, depending upon like how low you're keeping that carb amount and, how thin the crust is, for example. But like strict keto is 30 carbs or less. Whereas like you could just do low carb diets for like 100 or really I was told by my nutritionist 70 carbs or less would be like a good round figure for low carb. But strict keto is like 30. But overall, like it also depends on how you're using the carbs. If you're exercising, like for me, I lift some weights around the house, and I also like do a good amount of walking. When I was like 300 pounds, I could not walk too far. But nowadays I can walk miles if I want to, around here, the sidewalks are terrible. So I don't really like to walk it. But if I go to like a city or like if I go on vacation to a place where it's walkable, then I'll usually walk miles and miles every day. Like when I was in Vegas last year, I walked 11 miles the first day I was there, and that was like 114-degree weather. It was a heat wave in last September. That was brutal. Like, I forgot to put sunscreen on the first day too. I don't know how I didn't end up looking like Darth Vader after that, I'm sure you guys have noticed, but I'm not the most tanned individual. We vampires aren't. Have you ever seen me outside during the day? Yeah? Well, that kind of destroys that idea. So what are you guys saying right now? Sam Hain, yeah. So Michael Myers, he wrote that on the wall, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Favorite horror movie. Speaking of, my favorite horror film of all time is Halloween. Maybe I'll do a review for that. Maybe I'll watch that tonight after the stream. That'd be cool. Love that movie. I also love Aliens, Predator, if you want to count it as one, the original Terminator. I mean, I know you might not want to count any of these except for Halloween, in which case you could say, you know, the first Halloween would definitely be one, and then I like the original Dracula movie, the black and white one. The Spanish one's really good too, if I remember correctly. I've only seen parts of it, and then you know the Hammer ones, Frankenstein. Yeah, I like a lot of those old school movies. So did Toriyama. That's why he put a lot of that stuff in his movies or in his manga. How much of a caloric deficit is a good goal? My nutritionist said 1,000 calories a day. So like you'd be able to burn like over 2 pounds per week doing that theoretically. For me though, sometimes it really depends. Like I usually somewhere in that neighborhood or less. But the thing is like too, another thing to keep in mind is that you don't just burn the calories and lose the weight that way. When you stop eating certain foods, your body will kind of flush itself out too over time. And then in turn, what will happen is that you will like lose a lot of extra weight that your body's hanging on to. Plus, certain foods will make you hang on to weight longer, like whether it be longer to digest or that they'll just make you retain more water weight, for example. So that's the thing. Like there's like when I weigh myself in the morning, I make sure it's like I'm fully like dehydrated, you know, aside from like days of water still left to me, like a day and a half before I actually die of dehydration. But you know, so like the bodybuilders, they dehydrate themselves so much that it's, you know, a shock they don't die on the stage sometimes. You like the OG Alien better than Aliens? A lot of people do. Josh from Dragon Ball Nation has that opinion. I used to feel that way, and then I marathoned them a year or two ago, and I like the second one most now. I do like the third one, but I prefer I think I only really like the director's cut. I don't like the beginning, of course. It's like the beginning of Dark Fate in some ways. Okay, so I'm going to do a video here today if you guys are just tuning in. Can we get those likes up, by the way? That way I'll be able to have more people see this as I'm recording the video, and that'll be pretty cool. You know, it's scheduled at the moment for me. I'm planning at least for it to come out tomorrow, but we'll see how long the video ends up being and how long it takes me to craft the thumbnail and stuff. I almost didn't even end up releasing yesterday's video on time because, well, on time, I mean yesterday, because I didn't expect that I'd be fully done by that time. But, you know, I gave it a shot, put it up, and, you know, fortunately it did surprisingly well. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, check it out. It was a video I had a lot of fun recording with Quaman. Actually, he did 2 videos with Quaman in a row. I know most people see the first one I did, but check them both out, both of my past videos. And then tomorrow, it's a straight up solo, a guitar solo. Let's bring it out. Play the Rock the Dragon. Maybe I'll do that if I hit 200K in the future. We'll see if that happens. But let's see. You already like the live stream? Thank you so much. Is this a non-canon live stream? No, it is fully canon tonight. It is LSM Monday. All the LSM Mondays are canon until they're not. It depends on what Harold says. Sometimes he decides not to allow them to be canon anymore. Pizza without crust isn't pizza, says Xavier. That's true. Gotta have a little bit on there. Actually, let me, I have to prep for this video a little bit, so before I record it, I'll talk to you guys a little bit longer. So ask me some questions, and I'll do my best to answer them until I have everything all mapped out for this video. What effect did Vegeta have on Cell? I think people seem to like that series, so I had fun turning into a series, really, because originally it was just one big one-off video, and I was like, you know what, I thought it was a cool video, a lot of people liked it, so then in turn I decided to turn into a series. Let me pull up Vegeta's first fight against Son Goku. Against Son Goku, because that's how you pronounce it for sure. Against Donkey Kong, even though Vegeta's the one who turns into Donkey Kong. So I think so far I've done 2 videos in the what effect did they have on Cell, which is what effect did King Cold have, and then I did what effect did Frieza have recently. I don't remember if I did another one yet. I've come up with so many different ideas for this that sometimes I don't remember if I actually did the video or not. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Love the collabs with Quaman. Thank you so much. I always like working with him. Creative way to name the sequel. Which one? Mike, your next video will be your 1000th video. Did you notice that? 999. Yeah, I did notice that. I'm probably going to do another stream this week, which is going to be my 1000 video spectacular. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have, I don't know if I'm going to have anyone on it or not. I haven't decided yet. I guess maybe it would have been a smart idea to like reach out to people in advance and be like, hey, do you want to be on my live stream? But, hey, maybe I'll have, the first channel that a lot of people saw on my content on in the past on here. A channel that hasn't uploaded in quite a while. More than 4 times as long as it usually goes. I'll let you guys figure that out. That could be a good thumbnail right here. The Cell face, and then I'll have another Vegeta face on the left side, maybe looking at Cell on split screen, but usually it's the ones that are in not in profile, like facing the camera are the ones that perform the best. Let's see what else you guys are saying. What kind of multiplier do you think the Final Flash would have? I don't know if the Final Flash really has a multiplier per se. Like, I feel like eventually the characters can get to the point to where instead of like outputting like a multiplier, they basically just dump like a percentage of their ki. And I mean, you could say that they would do something like that anyway, but it's like, I'm going to put all of my ki into this attack. And even the Kamehameha, like, it doesn't seem like by the time that Goku is fighting against Cell, for example, the Kamehameha is a multiplier. It's more like you could dump all of your energy into one attack if you really wanted to. I mean, even Roshi kind of did that when he fought against Goku. But to be fair, he did use some chi-based abilities before that, like the Bankoku Bikuri show, the lightning surprise shock attack. What the hell am I doing right now? Okay, I'm trying to put it in this folder. This is... Why don't I... Come on, Windows, get your SHIT together. Also, tell me if you get that reference. And I'll look at some of your other questions, because I know you guys asked me a good amount of them. What effect? Here we go. It's because if you don't, it's a lot of times like I sort my folders in a way. I'm not showing you guys this on purpose. So if you're wondering what is he talking about, it's all good. But I sort the folders with all my projects on them, and then Windows has not like thought ahead to where if you auto update them when you change a folder inside another folder, but it doesn't really matter. So let me take a look at what you guys are saying in the chat real quick. I'll pop that up as I'm getting all my stuff together. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Xavier. What are you saying? You should do a poll, favorite Vegeta technique between the Gallic God, Bing Bang Attack, Final Flash, and Final Explosion. Okay. I like how you even chose 4 options. I guess that you're aware that I can only do 4 images, so that's pretty awesome. Yeah, so sure, maybe I'll do that as my next poll. Maybe I'll do that. Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, I could do it. I think I might have released my last poll at like midnight and it still did pretty well. So let me know like when you see my polls. And how do you see them traditionally? Do you see them on your home screen, on your phone? Do you go to the community tab to vote? Like, do you see them under my videos when you watch them? Where do you see my polls traditionally? Because that's something I'm very curious about. And I'm sure a lot of other channels that I know would probably be interested to know how that works for you guys. Because I only ever see my polls on my community tab. What about the final shine? I feel like he doesn't use it enough to put it on the list. Like I said though, there's only 4, so it's like, am I gonna pick one? Probably do that. You should do it on stream. Oh, you mean in the stream? Yeah, sure, let's do that. And then I could also do another one on my channel. But yeah, let me remember how to do a poll. Now, was it best or favorite? All right. Yeah, it doesn't need to. Why does it just say yes or no? Favorite Vegeta technique? Yes. Okay. Gallic Gun, Final Flash. Oh, wait. It doesn't matter what order. Big Bang Attack! That was cool when I saw all of them. All the voice actors for Vegeta in English and Japanese doing that in person. That's pretty awesome. Let's see. What's the other one? Oh. Final Explosion. Is that what you wrote? Yeah. Go! You care! Oh, it's doing top chat again. I hope I'm not missing anyone's chats. Let's see, what are you guys saying right now? You see them in the sub box, randomly on YouTube, usually on the YouTube app on my phone. Yeah, Final Flash is awesome. Especially when Ryo Horikawa says it. Final Flash! But no, Chris Abbott also does a good one. The original version from, the English version at least, from the Orange Bricks, I think is better than the one that he does in Kai, to be honest. Same thing with a lot from that arc. I'm not quite sure why that ended up happening. It's almost like they got way less takes for the Cell Saga, or, you know, when they did the redubbing, or like when they did the dubbing and then they had the music issue, it's like, did they just redo all the lines like really quick? Like, I don't know. It's kind of strange because there's such a great quality increase from the original versions in the first 2 seasons, and then for whatever reason it just falls off in the Cell Saga. I mean, Stephanie Nadolny not being there as Gohan is definitely a big factor because she was so much better. Not just Gohan, but also Kid Goku. She did such a better job, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of like depicting the characters of Gohan and Goku than Colleen Clinkenbeard did. You know, Colleen, she's fine in some roles, I've heard, but when it comes to playing prepubescent boys, she just does not have the voice for it. She sounds too much like, well, a girl. So that's kind of the thing. It's like the voice actresses who did, you know, Goten and Trunks, at least in the original series, did a great job. Trunks still sounds really good, but Goten, I really don't like the reinterpretation of his character in Kai. But there's a lot of swaps I don't really like as much. I think I prefer Volmer as playing the voice of Bulma. Let's see who else. Android 18 like most people were like, yeah, this is not a good choice for Colleen to voice Android 18, so they replaced her with the original voice actress whose name escapes me in Dragon Ball Super. So yeah, it's just a lot of the voice acting changes they made in Kai are actually inferior comparative to the original series, even though the script is better. So you kind of just have to keep stuff like that in mind. I will say though that I think that Chris Ayres was a much better Frieza than Linda, because even though Linda did a great job as like Genkai and Yu Yu Hakusho and some other voices she did, when you really listen to like Frieza's voice in Japanese and then you listen to Chris Ayres, you're like, okay, this sounds way more like Frieza than Linda ever did. And I mean, a lot of people grew up with the Linda voice, but you listen to her voice and then you listen to Chris Ayres and you're like, okay, you know, I think Chris did a way more true to character portrayal of the voice than Linda did. Because Frieza is supposed to sound more refined and elegant in a sense and royal. You know, a lot of those things that the two of those voice actors capture, like Ryo Horikawa also captures that a lot with Vegeta, but Ryosei Nakawa does a great job as Frieza, and so too did Chris Ayres. I mean, there have been certain replacements in the past that have done a great job, you know, but overall, yeah, like there are certain portrayals that it's not quite as much as I enjoy. I mean, overall, I still think it's the best way to watch Dragon Ball Z is just to watch the original series with like the Dragon boxes or whatever, and watch it in Japanese. But you know, and then skip over most of the filler that you don't like or care about, like the episode Bulma and the Crab. That's how I used to do it for years and years when I saw the series again and again and again and again. I mean, there were times where I decided to watch all the filler, but most of the time I would skip it because I didn't enjoy it, except for the Otherworld tournament. I don't really like Garlic Jr. anymore. I did like the Dead Zone movie, and there are parts of the saga I like, especially two of them. But, you know, the fact of the matter is, see, I'll leave that to the imagination. I'm sure that Quaman will immediately understand what that joke is the second I say it. But either way. Let's see what people are saying also about the poll before. So actually, you know what? I'll make that announcement after I'm done with the video because it's about Vegeta. Vegeta's technique. I gotta make sure to do that. If somebody, if I don't remember to do it during the video, somebody please remind me, and then I'll just re-record myself and I'll make it seem like I remember to do it. Either that or I'll say it like a million times during this video and then I'll just like destroy the joke completely. It's like South Park. I just totally run it into the ground, right? Just run that joke into the ground as hard as I possibly can. Like I'm freaking Wile E. Coyote falling off a cliff and smacking into the ground in the exact same illustration a million times. We're going to get to see one of my absolute favorite scenes with Cell in this video too, where he does that malicious smile when he realizes Gohan's actually stronger than me, but that doesn't mean I lose. And he flies up and goes to blow up the plane with a freaking 5 mile wide Kamehameha that's the size of like the freaking spaceships from Independence Day. So, oh right, perfect parallel I just thought of with the semi-perfect and the perfect leading to Cell and his perfection. Perfection. Okay. I mean, I'm eventually going to do some other ones too, in terms of, what is it? I'm going to also do some other ones as well, with regard to the characters and more specifically, ones like Goku's effect on Cell, Piccolo's effect, maybe at some point I'll do. And then I might do some other ones that aren't actually a part of his genetics, but had a different type of effect on him. Like, for example, with regard to like Future Trunks' effect on Cell, or Dr. Gero's effect on Cell. After all, he's the one who created him. That might do really well, because people seem to like it when I talk about Dr. Gero or Gero. Oh, wait a second, I forgot. I'm calling him in canon Dr. Gero now. I'm going to just start doing that in videos. I might do it in this video and just see how people react. They're like, this guy's a fake fan. He's pronounced it Gero. It's like, no, I'm the realest fan of all, because I combine the dub pronunciation of his name and the original. So it's Dr. Gero. Dr. Gero Seinfeld. What's the deal with these sayings? There's so many comparisons I could draw. Maybe I'll think of them during the video and I'll just like edit them in. Okay, now I'm going the one with... Let me do this right here first. I think this is another good comparison. Once again, it's... That's the thing, like I'm going through the entire Cell saga right now, just reading through it. And, you know, I read super fast, but the fact of the matter is there are just so... That's one of the things I love about reading the manga. That like every time I read it, it feels like just to prepare for a video, well, I end up realizing something new, or I end up thinking about something from a different perspective, a different angle. It's pretty great. I mean, I'm sure you guys know that you're watching the franchise based on all the time, right? Yeah, it's wonderful sometimes. Even as like bad as some parts can get, I guess you could say, the fact of the matter is that it's just great. One of the best of all time, for sure. And then you could look at some of the mangaka who are constantly referred to as being the best of all time, like Togashi, for example, and he's like, oh, Toriyama's like a god compared to me in terms of his like capabilities and stuff. In terms of like all the art, it's like on another level than anything I've ever made, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's you know, when the other top tier guys are saying that, you're kind of like, well, that makes perfect sense to me, right? I like Final Flash because you're just T-posing on your enemy before blast. How often does Vegeta really do that, though, other than the initial time? It's kind of like Master Roshi when he uses all the Buddhist, like Taoist, like key gathering poses and stuff like that, and then unleashes them. Unleashes the Kamehameha on Fry Pan Mountain. But then when he does it again, when he fights Goku in the 21st tournament, he doesn't do any of those. At least from what I can remember off the top of my head. Or like Trunks with that one blast he used, the burning attack or whatever. When we met King Cold, I always thought Frieza should sound like a spoiled brat. I mean, he is one, regardless. But it's kind of hard not to be spoiled. Yeah, Eno Yaka. Thank you for watching the stream. I will be doing a collection in the future, of a collection video. I don't know if I'm going to do separate videos for whatever it is. Separate videos for my entire collection for a section, or just like do a Blu-ray one, but I'm going to be doing that. How is Big Bang more popular than Galick Gun Final Explosion? Big Bang Attack is just throwing a blue orb Yeah, it is strange that Big Bang Attack is doing so well in the poll right now. You know, you'd think that Big Bang Attack, a move that he used like what, one time against a guy who didn't even have arms, so he couldn't defend himself, would not be as popular as like the Gallic Gun, one of the most iconic beam struggles in the entire franchise, or you know, the Final Explosion, one of the most emotional techniques in the franchise. But you know, that's people like what they like. I guess they like the pose and stuff. Who knows? I really don't. You know, but that's the thing with me. My favorite technique that Vegeta uses is Vegeta's technique. No, that's his worst one. At least the other ones accomplished something. Vegeta's technique did not. Even when Goku used it. Goku used it against Cell, but because he used Vegeta's technique, he failed. Not that he intended to win either. Okay. Is Dragon Ball Super ever going to return, or is it canceled because it got replaced by Dragon Ball Daima? I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't return, to be honest. I still would think it's going to at some point, but some anime just take forever to come back. I mean, Hunter x Hunter ended years ago. Let's see what else ended years ago. Vampire Hunter D, I've been waiting for like, I don't know, 20 years for the series to come out, or for them to at least come out with another movie. There's plenty of anime people are waiting on for years. Bleach took, what, 8 years or something to come back? All right, see you later, AP. All right, I'm almost done. Trying to think of any other examples I might have missed, but like I said, I could think of them afterward. Not that big of a deal. Wait for it. What other moments does Vegeta mirror Cell so clearly? Especially as Perfect, he has some great moments that are like Vegeta, but simultaneously a lot like, well, Frieza, Goku, and the list really goes on. I guess one thing I do want to do is draw parallels and comparisons between Cell's journey for power, in a sense, and Vegeta's in the Namek Saga, which is actually the Frieza Saga, but, you know, in the Funimation, they change it a little bit, but, let's see. I think it's volume 31. Actually, no, volume 30. Okay, here we go. Volume 24. I think it's too late in the Namek section. You know, it'll be fine. All right, so what I'm going to do right now, guys, I will be right back, and then we will record this video. Today, inside the intro.
Potala, potala, skatala, gattai saikyo. I'm the Goku Black 高い気ぐらい海洋神の見習い人間嫌い過去現在未来人間滅ぼしたい人間ゼロ計画だからポタラ使ったら合体最強見た目を捨てたらむやみやたら強いキャラポタラ不死身だから切られたら増えるから宇宙そのもの無限ざます無限に増えて人間滅ぼす神辛い未来それでも絶対諦めない盾希望の戦士世界の盾になるために僕のベジータ未来に助けに来たら初めに苦しみ大ピンチだからポタラ使ったら合体最強ベストブルー気が高ぶるベストブルー心揺さぶる強さ荒ぶる合体したら強敵もへっちゃらポタラ使ったら合体最強ポタラ使ったら合体最強ドラゴンボール Z ドッカンバトル全世界同時キャンペーン間もなく
Okay, let's do this. Yeah, I do really like that part. I think that might have become my favorite one, to be honest. You know, like the original one, the cooler is great, but that one just goes a lot harder in many ways. Like they really, I feel like the metal cooler one is the weakest, and that one is like the strongest. At least for the ones I've heard thus far. For all I know, there are other ones, but I haven't actually seen them yet. Okay. Set the right angle. Okay, let's do this. Let me get my test recording in here real quick. Hey guys, it's Mike here, and in this video we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, and Dragon Ball GT. Also Dragon Ball Daimon now, and also Dragon Ball Heroes, and Dragon Ball Xenoverse, and Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 4. And then, you know, the Dragon Ball manga, the Dragon Ball Super manga, the Dragon Ball Dai manga. I don't really know that that's ever going to be a thing, but who knows? Maybe we'll find out in the future here on Laughingstock Media. Yeah, you about to subscribe. No, I can do it better, Jan. You better subscribe. Enable those damn notifications. Okay. Let's see how that came out, everybody. You listen to that right now? Downloads. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. Change things up. There we go. Okay, perfect. It sounds good. Let's do this now. Hey guys, it's Mike here, and in this video, I'm going to be discussing a topic that has to do with Cell, the perfect villain in the Dragon Ball story. And I went in depth into exactly why, in my opinion, Cell is the best villain of all in Dragon Ball that you could see in a video in the top right corner. In this video, I'm going to focus on what effect a certain character in the story had upon Cell. In the past, I talked about what effect... In the past, I talked about what effect... You know, I'm not going to do two references quite just yet. I'll just do them sprinkled throughout the video. That character would have to be Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans. A very powerful and very prideful character. But what effect did he have on Cell? Well, we're going... The bio-android, who also just so happened... I'm going to do this whole intro over. This is like, this is the trial, the test. I could do it way better than that. I can go much harder than this. Hey guys, it's Mike here, and in this video, we're going to be discussing Cell, and more specifically, something that has to do with Cell as not only a being biologically, but also his psychology as a character. That question comes down to, what effect did Vegeta, the Saiyan Prince, have upon the perfect villain in the Dragon Ball story? And also in the past, I broke down why Cell not only is the perfect villain, but also perhaps the best villain in the Dragon Ball. Oh, man. In the past, I actually did talk about what effect... Jeez. You know what? This whole thing's scrapped. It's all a test drive. The video's canceled, guys. No. Sometimes it takes a minute to get into it. Hey guys, it's Mike here, and in this video, I'm going to be discussing Cell, one of my favorite characters in the Dragon Ball franchise and my absolute favorite villain, and I actually broke down in a video you guys can see in the top right why he is perhaps the best villain in the Dragon Ball franchise. You know, I'm not going to say perhaps. Enough with this holding back. It is time for me to go even further beyond. Hey guys, it's Mike here, and in this video, I'm going to be continuing a series of videos I've done on this channel discussing what effect characters had on Cell, which you guys can see in the top right corner. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look and analyzing what effect Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans, had upon the bio-android who incorporated not only some of Vegeta's cells into himself, but also his psychology. And if you guys are interested, I also discussed in the video in the top right corner why Cell is the best villain in Dragon Ball Z, so definitely check that out. But with that being said, let's do another deep dive into Cell, his psychology, his techniques, and that much more. But before I begin, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing and enabling all notifications. That way you can stay up to date with all my future videos. Additionally, make sure to leave a like, share your own thoughts down below in the comments. Also, don't forget to stay the entire time, because if you do, we're going to make sure that we're going to continue to grow and to go even further beyond, because that clown Kakarot cannot have all the fun when the Prince of all Saiyans is here once more. But with that being said, let's get straight into the video. Now, that's a way better intro. 9,001 out of 10, 18,000 out of 10. Not that clown Kakarot's power level. Okay. So let's see. Now I'll start with the obvious. So I first want to start with one that most people will probably think of off the top of their head, which has to do with Vegeta fighting against semi-perfect Cell, and how similar a situation that unfolds here is to the situation that unfolds in the final climactic battle of the arc. And there's a lot of little parallels. And there's a lot of parallels and ripples between the two different events that transpire within the story, which you guys can actually see as I discuss in the video Time Echoes in Dragon Ball in the top right corner. But let's get into this, because what ended up happening here is that Vegeta had stepped fresh out of the hyperbolic time chamber. He exited a dimension that he had entered one day before, but 1 year for him. He trained intensely alongside his son Trunks, and then in turn was able to not only power up his base form, and not just that, but also ascend to grade 2 of Super Saiyan, in which he in turn increased his power significantly above a traditional Super Saiyan and was able to easily defeat semi-perfect Cell at this point, thrashing him, beating him down. Now, eventually during the course of this fight, Cell did power up to his full, but even then, Vegeta pulled a Gohan, or maybe Gohan pulled a Vegeta, in terms of so many of the parallels later on, where he says, "Oh, it looks like you got stronger. Is that all you have?" And at this point, Cell goes on to attack Vegeta, and once again, another moment that parallels with Gohan. He turns his face around, revealing that he's barely been damaged at all, and says, "Oh, I guess that is the best you've got." Another thing that also paralleled a scene between Goku and Frieza when Goku got blasted in the face and dramatically revealed his face to reveal it barely did anything to him. This is when he has his iconic pointing at his face scene, "I am Super Vegeta," which, when you do the thumb pose, we all know that means you're unfortunately going down. Now, the thing is that Cell, at this point, started to freak out because of how outmatched he was by Vegeta. And at this point, we see that Vegeta decides to not even kill him when he has the chance. He says that it'll basically be a waste of his time to do it. This is when Cell provokes Vegeta's ego, his arrogance, and his pride as a Saiyan warrior, where he tells him that if he became perfect, that he would never lose to Vegeta. And then he begins to play into Vegeta's ego, where you could see right here, he starts to say things to Vegeta to persuade him. "I would never lose to anyone when I'm perfect. I'd have perfect power, perfect speed, perfect reflexes, and a perfect brain." I mean, for Dragon Ball standards, at least. "I'll be perfect in every way. That's what the computer told me." This is what leads to Vegeta saying that Cell can go and become perfect. And after a fight between Trunks and Vegeta, this ends up actually happening, where Cell absorbs Android 18 and in turn becomes his perfect, complete form. This is what leads to a big turn of events in which Vegeta starts to get wrecked by Cell with his power, where he can't do anything to Cell, as we could see here, and even furthermore gets his Saiyan hairdo handed to him. Now, this scene parallels the fight between Cell and Gohan during the final fight of the Cell games, where Cell plays into the exact same arrogance and ego that he also had tricked Vegeta into doing earlier. Except in Gohan's case, this is more earnest. Gohan actually doesn't want to fight against Cell because he doesn't want to kill him even though he's evil, and he says that his power is so great when he unlocks its true potential that he'd be able to even destroy Perfect Cell. But then we see here that Cell says, "It looks like your little plan has failed. Did you really think that I would get scared listening to that story of yours? You really still are a child. You've made me want to piss you off to see if you really are telling the truth." And he proceeds to attack Gohan, leading to all the things that occur during their fight. Do I have Gohan? No, I don't. And eventually, after the destruction of Android 16's head and the ending of his artificial life at the hands of Cell, Gohan snaps and in turn becomes a Super Saiyan 2, which allows him to ultimately defeat Cell. Where is that? And of course, this ends up happening after and of course is by the hand of not only Gohan, but also by Vegeta, who proceeds to intervene in the fight, doing something that he would never do in the past and violating his own pride to allow Cell to have the opportunity to allow Gohan the opportunity to in turn destroy what is essentially his clone in a sense of Cell. So that's a great thematic thing that Toriyama put in there. Let's see. What do I have this here for? I feel like there's something specific. Oh yeah, the thumbnail. Was there another scene in particular I had this here for? Oh, right. Now another way that Cell is very similar to Vegeta is his desire to battle against strong foes, even beyond what I just showed you before. If it was not for this desire, not only would he have not... I'll actually start the Cell games introduction. Now, even further than this, much like Vegeta, Cell does... Now, even further than this, because Cell does have the Saiyan... Now, because Cell does have the Saiyan cells of not only Vegeta, but also Goku within inside of him, this is what propels him in turn through not only his psychology, but his physiology in order for him to desire and crave combat against stronger foes. Like, for example, when he asks Trunks if he will be able to get stronger if he gives them more time. This is what leads to him deciding to create the tournament, these Cell games, which in turn will allow them to battle against him in one-on-one combat for his fun, so that he'll be able to not only, like Vegeta, want to in turn destroy, battle against strong foes, but also, like the androids, want to as well also get more pleasure out of seeing the terror in people's faces, which is something I talked about in that video I mentioned before about what effect the androids had on Cell. This is the entire reason that Cell fights against Goku here, because the fact is that even though Cell could have just blown up the planet after he won by absorbing Android 17 himself and thus becoming perfect, not only could he have just killed Goku by going full power and not even giving him a chance to fight against Cell, but not just that, additionally, that is what leads to, just like the scene before, Cell's ego and his Saiyan physiology, his Saiyan pride getting in the way of him and his own survival. Furthermore, let's see if I can find that one too. Where is this? Here we go. Furthermore, after Cell returns as Super Perfect Cell, it is his Saiyan genes, such as those they inherited from Vegeta, that allowed him to come back even stronger than before. Because whereas Cell's regeneration came from Piccolo and seemed to have been perfected not only in terms of when he became perfect, but also by Dr. Gero's computer, which I discussed with Kwame in a video you guys can see in the top right corner, discussing how Cell's regeneration was actually better than Piccolo's. Vegeta and also Goku contributed to Cell's ability to get Zenkai Boost, which made him power up to where he viewed himself as being able to defeat Gohan as a Super Saiyan 2. Now, a lot of arguments, of course, have been made as to whether or not Gohan actually was stronger than Super Perfect Cell here. Now, a lot of arguments have been made by both sides as to whether or not Cell or Gohan is actually stronger here. I don't remember if I made a video about this, but let's say I discussed that further in depth in another video you guys can see in the top right corner. That'll cover me if I actually did. But either way, if it wasn't for the Saiyan cells within him, Cell would have come back and just gotten beaten right back into near oblivion or just completely obliterated by Gohan one more time regardless. Another way that Vegeta and Cell parallel one another is their reaction to when they're being defeated by someone that they do not perceive as being on their level. Like, for example, with the case of Vegeta, after Goku uses the Kaioken ×3 and damages Vegeta enough, bloodying his lip, and in turn actually also causing internal damage with him, that he decides to just lose all sense of control over himself and flies up into the atmosphere ready to destroy the Earth with his key attack, his Gallic Gun, which proceeds to lead Goku into having a beam clash with him, which in turn leads to Vegeta being beaten here. Now, in a very similar fashion to what happened here, we see the same thing play out with Cell and Gohan. Where when Cell is cornered, when he is beaten essentially by Gohan, he's even bleeding from the mouth just like Vegeta was, what happens? He says that he didn't think that Gohan would... He says that he didn't think a being even stronger than him would exist, in that Gohan is stronger, but I still won't lose. Which is one of my favorite little moments from Cell, where he's like going to channel not only his inner Vegeta, but also his inner Frieza, and proceeds to fly up into the air just like Vegeta did, charging up his full power attack so that he will destroy the entire planet, or at the very least take out Gohan. Unfortunately for him, when he fires this giant, like 5-mile in circumference blast that's the size of one of those spaceships from Independence Day, Gohan is able to easily just charge up a Kamehameha when he's not even using the position of his hands or anything like that like you traditionally do, just being a cool badass character, keeping his hands down by his waist, as he proceeds to then say, "Ha!" really fast, firing his first ever Kamehameha on screen in the manga, and leading it to be fired right back through Cells, and even shooting his own back at him in the anime version, and dealing serious damage to him as well. But just like Vegeta, Cell would not be beaten there. Now, another way that Cell parallels Vegeta is, in a sense, his journey to try and become more powerful to overcome a greater enemy. Now, in the case of Cell, we found out that he had been on a very long journey, and also not just in one timeline, but multiple. Because Cell had come from the future, during which he actually went and tried for years to find the location of 1718 after he woke up from the incubation that Dr. Giro's computer was creating him within. At that point, he wanted to try and find them to absorb them and become perfect, but there was an issue, which is that he couldn't because of the fact that Trunks had already defeated them somehow. This is what in turn led to him going back in time after he killed Trunks and then going to absorb the androids in the present. This is also similar to Vegeta's path to power, wherein in the manga, Vegeta was seeking to attain immortality during his entire time, not only on screen in the original Saiyan saga where he debuted, but additionally also on Namek when he was seeking out all the Dragon Balls there to accomplish immortality. He almost actually had his goal granted multiple times. First off, when the Z Fighters, the Dragon team at the time, had all gathered together the Dragon Balls before the Ginyu Force had come to stop them. And not just that, such as right here, and Vegeta came so close to achieving that goal of immortality so that even somebody like Frieza wouldn't be able to kill him, which is when he was standing in front of the Dragon Balls that were gathered by Gohan and Krillin, and in turn, Dende was going to make the wish on the Dragon Balls to make Vegeta immortal. I don't have this on screen. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta find that panel real quick. Oh no, I'm breaking your immersion. 1 second. It's taking its free time all day, every day right now, I guess. Come on, hard drive. There we go. I mean, come on, other way. That's totally, come on, me reading the manga and then scanning it on my computer. Or whatever I'm supposed to say right now. Almost there. I do own all the manga, by the way. I do want to just make sure everyone remembers that. Here we go. And Vegeta was literally right there on the precipice of gaining immortality. Dende was right in the midst of asking for the wish to be granted when suddenly Purunga vanished, the Dragon Balls fell to stone on the ground, and in turn, the Grand Elder, Guru, had died, meaning that Vegeta could not attain his wish. This was a lot more extensive in the anime version, where we actually did see Vegeta standing there saying, I'm going to be immortal, and, getting so hyped up for the moment, only to then have it being taken away. So, again, there was so much that the anime expanded upon the manga. But I think this is another interesting comparison to draw, that the two characters are very utilitarian in the sense that these two characters are those who are trying to constantly gain further power, rather than other characters in the story were introduced to certain villains, like Frieza, for example, who for most of his time in the original story was never trying to gain greater power, but instead relied upon his natural power to get ahead. So in terms of his psychology, in terms of their overall similarities biologically, and also the fact that Cell was able to inherit the cells, which also in turn gave him the techniques of all of the different. So in terms of not only his biology and his psychology, but also in terms of things such as the fact that Cell was able to inherit the techniques of the individuals who comprise his cells. As we know, the perfect villain in Cell was able to get a lot of effect from Vegeta on himself. In turn, a lot of that self-defeating aspect of Vegeta passed on and rubbed off on a Cell, in which, despite the fact that he survived and was able to win because of Vegeta's own foolishness and arrogance, allowing him to live so that he'd be able to get stronger and thus in turn become perfect and defeat Vegeta, he made the same fatal mistake in this case, in which Gohan, the guy he allowed to get into that rage, allowed to build up his power, then in turn destroyed him. But what do you guys think? What are some other effects that Vegeta had on Cell? Let me know in the comments down below. Additionally, if you're new here, consider subscribing, enabling all notifications so you can stay up to date with all my future videos. Make sure to leave a like, share this video out. Thank you all for staying this long in the video. You guys are awesome. And make sure to stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
Cell might be perfect, but he doesn't have the perfect genes like me.
Okay. Completed. What are you guys saying in the chat? Let me also make sure my video came out good. Imagine if I didn't share my screen the entire video. I've actually done that before. It was not fun. It was quite the opposite. What effect did Vegeta have on Cell? I like this series. Like I said, it wasn't even a series at first. It was just a one-off video, and then it ended up doing well. So I appreciate you guys for watching these videos. The what effect X character have on X. In this case, Cell, you know, what effect did Vegeta have on Cell? And not just that, but also I'm going to do another one in the future. I mentioned in my most recent video, if I recall correctly, which is going to be what effect did Kami have on Piccolo? Which I think could make for a cool video. I mean, we'll see how many people watch it. It is an original Dragon Ball and story, and this is the Cell Saga, which, you know, tends to be more popular, of course. It makes sense. But overall, it'll be a fun video to make. I might make the thumbnail on here too. Just give you guys a glimpse of how that works. Huh? It's Kwame here today and bring you another segment about Dragon Ball Z. Alrighty guys, it is Kwame here today and I bring you another segment about Dragon Ball Z. He wasn't that high-pitched, but you know. Let's see. So what are you guys saying in the super chat? Emperor Palpatine, who has unlimited power. Super is also amazing at giving everyone rage boosts, even though it's supposed to be Gohan's thing. Yeah, that's a great thing to point out, that's for sure. Gohan just had so much of his stuff ripped off from him and given other characters throughout Super. And then, you know, then they kept trying to make him relevant again. They're like, oh, wait, we gave away everything that people like about him to other characters, too. It's kind of like when they tried to make Boba Fett popular in Star Wars. And they're like, with the new Disney stuff, and they're like, wait a second, we basically just ripped off Boba Fett to make The Mandalorian and just like took all of his cool aspects and gave it to him. Let's make him, I don't know, a diplomat now? Mike, do the natural Kwame voice impression.
Alrighty guys, it is Kwame here today. And in this video, I'm going to be discussing nothing because this entire part of the video will be cut out because I don't have intros on my videos anymore. They require too much of my resources at the research station where I live in Antarctica on the base, which has a hot topic and also polar bears, even though polar bears are native to the North Pole, not the South Pole. Stay cool and stay frosty, my friends. I am Keith David. I am James Earl Jones. I am your father. I was going to almost say Luke, but that is a Mandela effect. Kind of like Kwame and I's last video you guys can check out in the top right corner. No, you can't because it's not going to be there, but you can check it out on my channel. I think that's like an accurate Kwame voice. The real one. You see, Ocarina of Time in your N64 is such a good game. Yeah. I had, I think, 2 or 3 copies of it physically when it came out, like the different versions. And then also, it's one of the few games I got more than one of. The same thing with Majora's Mask when it came out. And then I have the 3DS version. I have the one on the Wii. The Switch, you know, that's one of the games. It's one of my favorites, so I bought it several times over now. I don't think it's in my 3DS right now. I don't know what game it is now that I think about it. It might be Majora's Mask. Let's find out. Oh, no. It's actually... Let's see if I could do this in dramatic fashion. Wait. It's actually... Pokemon X. Otherwise known as Pokemon X Gon' Give It To You. Rest in peace. Yeah, it's a pretty cool console I got right here. And it's in my hand.
And then they stopped making Game Boys because I guess they just have the Switch now. Can you like focus? This is Canon. Come on, webcam. Let's see what you guys are saying. Have you ever played the mobile game Dokkan Battle? No, Josh has though. You should check out his channel. Mike.
With our combined strength, we can end this destructive conflict and rule together as father and son. Come with me. It is the only way.
I'll never join you.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
No.
It's basically like, I guess, a Skeletor impression said Luke Skywalker, but you know, close. Let's see what else. MSN 64. Yeah, I still have mine behind me. My original one from when I was a kid. Wait for it. Yep, there it is. I don't know if that's my original Ocarina, though, to be honest. That is my original Pokemon Yellow, though, in my Super Nintendo right here. I would actually, like, take this camera and move it around the room and do a tour, but I can't, so I don't know how I'm going to do that tour. I might do it on my phone. I guess we'll see. I want to do a tour video, though. You know, there's a good amount of stuff in here that I've collected over the years. It's my Wii U, my original PlayStation from when I was a kid. I don't remember what game I have in there right now. Let's find it. I keep doing this. Oh. What I have in there is the most metal gift of all. Nothing.
But what I do have in my hand is a pretty Twisted Metal game. Twisted Metal 3. Not my original copy, but I got it again years later. Always liked this game. I never played Twisted Metal Black, though. I haven't seen the show yet either. I would like to check it out, but we'll see. So many shows I need to watch. I'm still waiting for The Boys to come back. I did like that show. I haven't read the comics, though, so that could be why I like it, because I've heard people who aren't big fans. But what isn't that the case with these days? Black and Fist still makes videos with Mike and I sometimes. Yeah, that's true. He might be on the channel again in the very near future. I guess we'll have to see. And near future for Black and Fist means at least 6 months, so you'll have to see. Still have your original Link to the Past from Super Nintendo and Mario from Nintendo. Wow, yeah. I don't have the original Nintendo, and I don't have Link to the Past in physical. I only have it digitally. A game I always wanted to own physically is Earthbound. I should have gotten it when it came out, because I played it when it came out. Like, I know it wasn't really popular in America, but like I loved it when it first came out. I played it. I must have rented it from Blockbuster enough times to where I should have just bought the game. But like our family didn't really buy many games or most games back then. We would rent them, or eventually, like the games we bought, like we just replay a lot. So, yeah. But, some of my favorite games I got back here, like my, like my Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, awesome game, like Paper Mario in a sense, like in terms of a great turn-based RPG. I got my, the Super Nintendo cartridge behind it. Behind my lineup of Game Boy games is the All-Star Mario. What the hell is that game called? Super Mario All-Stars. A game I've literally played since I'm a kid and I don't remember the name of it. I got a lot of games, but I don't know where a lot of them are right now. Some of them have disappeared over the years, unfortunately. Ugh. But I got tons of games. I've bought most of my Xbox games over here, for example. I bought years afterward. But that's one of the things, I like to go back and play games that I missed. I usually end up missing entire generations of video games because I don't play them enough. So a lot of times I like to go back and pick up some of the best ones when they're on, basically cheap. Or I just buy them when they're really cheap on Steam and I just never play them. Josh, if you're watching, I still have my Red Dead Redemption in the Xbox 360 that's plugged in my TV. It's been there for about 5 years now, I think. Something like that. Ness is from the 80s. That's true. He was also in Earthbound. Mike, you're responding to Emperor Palpatine. He was asking why Black and Fist is active with Jamie Snowden, but not on his own channel. Oh, wait. Juan has been on Future Gohan's channel? I didn't know that. I haven't seen any of his videos in a long time. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just easier for Juan to be on a video than for him to edit them. I mean, if, maybe if he hits it big, he'll actually have other people edit his own videos, and then in turn, he'll actually show up on the channel. I mean, to be fair, Kwame, I don't hear you reaching out to him and be like, hey, I'll edit all your videos for free. Just get more Black and Fist videos. But we all know that's not going to happen for anyone involved. Doesn't have to just be you, trust me. Unless you do a one-picture classic. Imagine Juan doing a one-picture classic. At this point, I would take a completely unedited Black and Fist video where he interrupts himself about 57 times in the same video to make one point. But he's great. I love it. I love his stuff. Let's see. Josh is another person MIA. I mean, he's not MIA from us, but yeah, well, he's not MIA from me. I still keep in contact with him frequently, but I want to have him on a video again in the future, another live stream, but he's just really busy with his life. And it's good, he's doing well and I'm happy for him. So, let him enjoy. I'm letting him enjoy his life, and maybe one day he'll want to come back. I mean, Josh was doing this from when he was like a teenager, technically, I think. So, why not give him some time? He's still a young man compared to me, at least. Yeah, I know, Kwan, man. Trust me, I'm very much aware. I never said that I would edit his videos either. I've gotten close to it though. Just to be like, I really want Juan to make another video. If he just records a video, maybe I can edit it for him. But I'd rather just not do that right now. By the way, guys, the super chat push-ups are in full effect tonight if you guys want to test me. So let's see. Let's take a look at the poll. Okay, so I'm going to bring the poll. Wait, why isn't it letting me do this? And bring the poll to a close. And the winner of the poll, Final Flash, followed by Big Bang Attack, followed by Gilligan Fire, followed by the techniques he just doesn't actually scream the name of in English. Vegeta's name for his technique when he blows himself up is ah. But that didn't really market well for Toei and Shueisha, so they called it final explosion. You know, it's he blows himself up and it's final until he comes back and he does it again. But this time his body is stronger, even though that's not how that works, Super. His body is so strong now that apparently it survives literally just recklessly, wantonly casting out every single ounce of energy he has without even attempting to keep his guard up. Okay. Even though he's like a billion times stronger now with regard to key reserves, and it's way more concentrated when he's a god. And okay, don't think about it. Don't think about it. Just enjoy the light show. Yeah, I think that those results are a little interesting. I'm not surprised Final Flash won, but that Gallic Gun didn't come in second place. That's a little surprising. With a much closer number, too. You'd think that Big Bang Attack would come in, like, last. Or at least second to last, because, like, who cares about the Big Bang Attack? He used it one time against, like, a throwaway villain, essentially. But okay. You know, if people like it, they like what they like. I guess maybe it looks cool and they like the name Big Bang Attack. Or they just have a really nostalgic feeling for that particular section of the story. Both of which are from the Cell Saga, actually. Boo Saga, well, a lot of people don't like that one, so maybe that's part of it. Big Bang Attack, or Gallic Gun. I mean, the Saiyan Saga is awesome, so I don't know why people wouldn't have as much good feelings about that, but, you know. Especially for those of you who might have watched, like, the Saiyan Saga on Toonami and on WB and stuff when it first was coming out before, you know, they eventually, like, had Funimation take over the dubbing. And then you saw it, like, 15 times before you even got to Frieza. And then when they caught up on whatever part they were at next, like Frieza, then it did it again and again. Ugh. That's one of the things that we don't benefit from. We didn't benefit from in the past when we were watching this stuff on TV. I could say that. You know, it's like so many people have so much nostalgic feelings about watching Dragon Ball Z on TV when they came home. How many times did that happen? And then it was filler. Or then it was, more accurately, a rerun of filler, right? Like, what about, like, all the times you were like, oh, cool, what's going to happen next week? And then we see the same episode we had seen 20 times before, where Goku is flying up to King Kai, or flying up to Master Roshi's with Gohan, and they restart again from the Saiyan Saga. Or how many times did they run through the whole series up until a certain point, even past the Saiyan Saga, and, like, then they did it again? And we didn't exactly know every single, like, the new season will come out at this particular date, at this particular time. Nobody knew back then. If you're, like, a kid and you're a fan, you just had to hope that it would be a new episode. And sometimes they wouldn't even announce that it was going to be a rerun. So it's like you expect a new episode and then it's like a rerun again. Sometimes even last week. But then there were weeks where they had, like, every single day was a brand new episode. So that was really cool. Or they would play the movies, like the original pre-Super Saiyan movies, let's say. Those were awesome. Those were some great experiences for sure. And no, Josh does not look like a young man, that's true. He's looked older than me the entire time I've known him. And he's definitely not. He's surprisingly the youngest of our group of YouTubers. If you would believe that. Okay, let's see. I think I might wrap it up soon, guys. You know, we're going to hit the 2-hour mark shortly. And, you know, I've noticed that with my streams, I tend to go too long, unless in turn I don't really reserve time for myself to do some other things. So I think what I might do is I'll wrap it up a little early, quote unquote, here on the stream. And I will then proceed to, I'll do something else. And I'll have that video coming up tomorrow about what effect did Vegeta have on Cell. It's not going to be as long as most of my videos recently, but, like I always say, this is one of the things I do want to say. My videos are always as long as, well, they just end up being, the thing is that some videos I release and they're like 20, 30 plus minutes. I've released like 40 plus minutes videos this year. And sometimes they end up being less than 15, struggling to be somewhere in the vicinity of 10. So as a result, that ends up leading to me, just putting the video out as long as it ends up being. So with this next video, the raw recording was like 20, 21 minutes. So maybe somewhere in the mid-teens or even lower teens. We'll have to see when I'm done editing that video in the future. But before I wrap this up, guys, do you have any other questions for me as I bring in my special guest tonight, who's joined me at the last second? Hi, you made a dramatic entrance right at the end, didn't you? Hi. Yeah. Say hi to everyone. Hi. Yeah. He couldn't let me have a stream without him showing up. That's not how you use a microphone. Sorry for all my headphone listeners. That might have been really loud. He likes to get attention from the largest audience possible. He should probably be on another channel then. No, but I'm assuming he appreciates everyone, right? Oh no, you shouldn't be saying things like that. That can get us demonetized. It's also very impolite. Yeah, hi. Thank you. Oh, wait for it. Nope, stop touching the microphone like that. If you're going to use the microphone, you got to speak into it. That's not speaking. That's just being a weirdo. Okay, so let's see what anyone else is saying. Anyone have any questions before we wrap it up on this edition of LSM Monday? Mondays with Mike. I was thinking of doing Movie Monday with Mike, but then again, I feel like most Mondays I just don't have a video ready on Laughingstock Cinema, so it's like it's a dream that ends up being a nightmare because it doesn't happen. Is my chat updating? Hopefully. Okay. So, with that being said, guys, I am going to bring this to a close. Let me take a look one more time and thank everyone for your super chats tonight. We have super chats sent in today from Biggie Cheese Jr. Always like that name. Xavier DeGod. Brent Shell. Thank you all so much for your super chats here tonight. I really appreciate all of them. Never expect them, but always appreciate them. So with that being said, guys, thank you all for watching. Make sure to stay tuned for my 1,000 video spectacular stream sometime this week. I was thinking of actually streaming for Halloween tomorrow now that I think about it, but I don't know. I think I'm just going to have fun, watch some movies, give out candy, and then, maybe I'll stream sometime later this week. We'll take a look at what my schedule is looking like, and, it's going to be non-canon when I do. I'm sure I'll have some candy left over too, so I'll be eating that. I might be eating that on stream. Doing my best not to eat it, so I can keep turning into a skeleton live before your eyes. But either way, thank you so much for watching, and make sure to stick around.